our next presenter, John Diklev. He is the founder of Flower, and I believe that's one of the fastest growing companies in EU. So over to you, John. I think it's better you explain what you do and how you use AI. Yeah.
So my name is John Diklev, CEO and founder of a company called Flower. It's short for flexible power. So we work with flexibility in the power sector, fundamentally trying to address how can we bring more renewables into the power mix and sort of satisfy the build out of AI and every other aspect of society that needs to electrify. But founding the company, if we look back, I think I've always and still argue very fiercely that I think no company has a self-entitled right to exist. So you need to have a raison d'être or a reason to do something. So I spend a lot of time thinking about that for my company in Flower, like what is it that we actually should do and what is it that we're trying to achieve. I mean, as an organization, we're 150 people. What is it that we're trying to achieve together? And we see the energy transition from this energy trilemma also outlined in the Draghi report, like affordability, sovereignty, and sustainability. How can we address all of these three aspects of supplying society with energy as we're sort of fundamentally shifting how we do everything? And our slightly perhaps controversial standpoint is that sustainability and sovereignty are ideologically driven. So it's stuff, I mean, I'm definitely an underwriter to those ideologies, but they're still ideologically driven, which means that they're not tapping into how our sort of world works, which is through market forces and economies. So we can't really subsidize the energy problem away. So we need to make it affordable, and we need to make the sovereign and sustainability solutions cost competitive. So every waking hour we spend thinking about how do we make sure that wind and solar and batteries are the cheapest way to supply society with energy. And those, if you look at wind, solar, the grid, storage, even nuclear, I don't have too much opinions about nuclear, but all of them are CapEx driven. So they require a lot of investments, but they don't require that much fuel or ongoing operation and maintenance. And in a CapEx heavy or an investment heavy system, there's two things that you need to get right. You need to invest as little as possible while extracting the same output. And two, you need to make that capital as cheap as possible. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that just now. Before I go into our solution, briefly about us. We're a 6-year-old company. We have what we call the largest flexibility portfolio in Sweden. Admittedly, we're excluding hydro from this because then Vattenfall would win. We're roughly 140 people, and we raised a lot of capital, roughly 250 million euros from different investors. Next slide, please. And this is coming to the core of what we're doing. So if we want to invest less while getting the same output from those assets, what we need to do is make sure that we build the right asset in the right with the right design, and that we also then manage them in the right way. And this is what we call our electricity operating system, or shortly our optimization platform. And it basically bakes all of these different asset classes into our portfolio, where we take batteries, residential EVs, heat pumps, data centers, steel plants, and we make sure that for every single second, these are doing the most efficient thing they could theoretically be doing. And we do that by building and integrating into them so we can control all of these assets on the green side. But then we apply all of this different data. So we do a host of predictions. So we predict market behaviors, we predict power systems, we predict weather patterns, we predict human behaviors. All of that feeds then into an optimization engine that's going to keep spitting out what all of these green assets should be doing. Should they consume more, consume less? Should they charge their batteries? Should we curtail wind? Sometimes that's a very rational thing to do as well. And then we spit that out. So we look at the different things we can provide. We can stabilize the grid in different ways. We can trade power, buying and selling. We can manage grid congestions. And we can also then go into financial contracts and balance out wind and solar. When we do all of those things, we will then generate money. Our business model is, of course, that we keep part of those profits, but the fundamental idea is to push as much of that possible to the asset owners so that they make more money and can invest in more of these assets, and we can speed up the energy transition. The second part of that equation, so that's how we make sure that we invest less while getting out the same amount. The second part is how do we make the capital that's still needed cheaper? And we think long-term agreement is a great way to get there. And typically banks would agree as well, and different types of lenders. If you know and have predictable cash flows, you get access to cheaper capital. But then we have this problem where a wind farm, for example, they generate this very intermittent profile, where sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's not. Whereas an AI data center or industrial customer that wants to buy that power has a completely different usage profile. So there's a gap here between what risk that the renewables are sitting with and what risk the consumers want to hedge. So what we've done is that we step in the middle there. So we end up going in and saying to the wind farms, hey, we can buy all of the power, and we buy it exactly as how you produce it. And then we go to the industrial clients and we say, we'll sell you power and we'll sell it exactly how you consume it. But then it's on us to make sure that we have enough battery storage, we have enough flexibility, so we can manage that intermittent profile into something stable. But then we can also push down the cost of funding, we can make predictable investments, and we can move the energy transition faster. Thanks a lot.